Hi, this is Mark Zamoyta, and welcome to this series, Designing with Adobe XD. I'm primarily a software developer, but I very often get into the design of the software I write. And out of all the design tools out there, my favorite is Adobe XD. It has a great user interface, and it offers the features that you need to rapidly design your software. And a great thing about it is that it's free. Now, I have an Adobe Creative Cloud subscription, so it comes with that. But if you don't have a Creative Cloud subscription, you can still get it free. I searched for a free XD download, and let's just go to the first link. So we're at Adobe's site, and we can go ahead and start for free. You'll need to create an account, but this will give you access to the free version. And the only real difference between the free XD version and the paid one, which comes with Creative Cloud, is that you don't have access to collaboration features. It'll be a bit harder to work with other coworkers or with clients, but that's okay. We can still get the full benefit of all of the design features of the program. So once you download it, you can go ahead and fire it up. Here's the start screen, and I'll start by creating a simple document which is for the web. It's 1920 by 1080. And let's look around the user interface a bit. We have our main canvas, and on the left we have our design tools. On top we have a menu and some more settings, and our property panel is on the right side. We'll be working with all these user interface features. And let's start off with navigating. I'm using a mouse with a scroll wheel. So by using the scroll wheel, I can pan the canvas around. And in fact, this is called an artboard, and we can have many of them. If I hit Control and use the scroll wheel, we can zoom in and out. And to quickly zoom, you can press Ctrl-0 to make the current artboard full screen, like so. And then also you can press Ctrl-1 to go to 100%. And we can see up here our zoom setting. It's at 100%. We can also set it this way. Now when we design, we'll most likely have dozens or hundreds of these artboards. And this whole canvas will get filled up with whatever size artboards we need. Maybe we're designing for desktop, mobile, and also a tablet. We would create artboards for all those sizes and place them here. But we'll be getting into that. We should start off by learning the very basic fundamentals of how to add design elements to an artboard. Looking at the tools on the left, we have rectangles, circles, and this is an oval, but if I hit the Shift key, it'll turn it into a perfect circle for me. If I let go of the Shift key, it's back to creating an oval. I'll just make a perfect circle. And polygons. It starts off as a triangle, but we can change the amount of vertexes it has. Now you can either press the V key or click the selection tool here in order to select these images. And working with the rectangle, we have resize handles. You can resize each side or by the corner. And we can change the border radius. Here it's a little bit curved. Or if we put the mouse on a corner, we can rotate it. If I wanted to rotate that back, I can just hit Ctrl-Z to undo. And all these shapes work pretty much the same way. If we look at the Properties panel on the right here, some of the most common things we want to do with a rectangle is to fill it with a color. And we can select the color here. We can also click on the border to set the border color. I'll make it blue, and I'll make the size 6 just so it stands out a lot. Or I'll make it 16. There we go. And you can add dashes and gaps to the border if you want, but that's pretty rare. Another common thing to do with the shape is to give it a drop shadow. I'll click the shadow button, and I'll just expand this out a bit to 10 and 10 on the X and Y. And I'll blur it a bit more than 6. I'll blur that to 10 too. And to make the shadow darker, we can change the color. More likely, you would just want to change the opacity here. We have the hue in this column and the opacity here to make it darker to black or lighter to white. I'll just leave it in the middle. Some other common settings that we have on the rectangle are the width and height, as well as the X and Y position. We can drag it around and put it in the top left corner, and that's 0, 0 for the X and Y coordinates. We can also see the rotation here, and if we wanted to, we could hit these buttons to flip horizontally or to flip vertically. I'll just undo that. Another common setting is the opacity. 100% means that it's opaque, you can't see through it. But as we scale this down, it becomes translucent, and we can see through it a bit. I'll put it back up to 100. And we'll be covering some of these other options in this series, but just know that all these shapes pretty much have the same properties to work with. So I'll make sure my selection tool is selected by pressing V. I'll select all these and delete them. So as far as developing software goes, let's start off by creating a simple header, say for an application, and I'll just give it a color. And I might want to use this color again, so I'll hit this plus button right here to save the color swatch. And now it's saved down here on the bottom. I'll hit escape. And let's say I also want a footer on the software design. We can just copy this header. And the way to do that in most Adobe products is to use the Alt button. Make sure you have the Select tool selected. And by hitting Alt and dragging, I can make a copy. And let's just put this on the bottom as a footer. And of course, another thing we need to be able to do is add text. So here's the text tool. I'll just add a title to the application here. I'll call it My App. And again, I'll hit escape to get out of that editing mode. And we can resize it immediately right here with this handle. I'll hit V to move it into place. And we can go ahead and change the font. I'll change it to Roboto. And we'll make it bold. Let's change the color to white. So there's our starting point for an application design. Throughout this series, we'll be building on this, and we'll see how we can design web pages and web applications, and also design them for the many form factors you'll need. Most likely it'll be desktops, tablets, and smartphones.